Okay, let's play some damn chess. We spit, spit, spit with their spits. You slut from China, street whore. The fuck was that? Come on, you whoremonger. You see, that fucking pisses me off. Man, fuck this shit. Man, fuck this shit. Wow, there goes some... Man, here goes some girls with some spit arms. With spit smell. Man, she's got some... Those three girls got some spit arms. With spit smell. With spit smell. With spit, spit, spit. Oh, that looks like a nice movie. We're gonna have to watch this fucking movie later. Yeah, that's a spit smell movie. With the spit smell table. With the spit smell table. Bitch, suck my mother. Oh my. Man, I
unless you repent, you're gonna pay. What am I doing wrong?
You dick sucker.
I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm telling you the truth, man. Just like your parents told you the truth when you were younger, okay? You were disobedient. They didn't hate you for telling you the truth, but they...
With pit smell. I'm facing that ear, you're rook. Stu, you stupid fucker.
Okay, pizza has officially been ordered.
Stupid fucker.
Where'd you end up ordering from? Mark was Italian. Everyone ordered from there last week and said it was really good.
I want to kill myself if girls like this don't think I'm good looking, but I'm too chicken shit to kill myself, so I'm not gonna.
Oh, creepy.
I'll just waste my life. Till I get some goddamn cosmetic surgery to be a goddamn hottie. Suck my slut, bitch.
Every day of graduation, he'd find me in the halls and remind me that I owed him.
Now fuck up and move that knife.
I doubt he cared about the $10. He had the biggest crush on Casey. He was
Come on, you dick sucker.
And you were a raging bitch to him. He was like stalking me. Or maybe we should have been nicer to him because Emily said he's a total hottie.
With Uzi, Emily. I want to see her spit arms before I change this on. With pit smelly? Oh, what? She's a smelly Shelly. With spit, spit, spit. With pit smelly Shelly, cause she rhymes. And nothing rhymes with her name.
The what? The chain murders?
You are not gonna ear my rook, you slut-eyed slut from China.
Okay. Yes, this is what I get for trying to talk current events with someone who only reads Cosmo.
With spit, spit, spit.
There are these emails going around. There's a few different versions, but they all usually start the same. They tell the story of someone who was brutally murdered and warn the recipient that if they don't forward it to 10 or 20 people or whatever, then they'll get murdered the same way the person in the story did. So you're telling me dozens of people have been brutally murdered because they didn't forward a stupid email? I know it's called this. That's a crazy thing. It's not a matter of who, it's a matter of what. Some people have successfully built whatever it is they came for them. Every time someone doesn't afford one of these,
suck my dick, bitch.
it's like a new one's born.
God fucking damn it.
Killer email, Shay. Are you fucking kidding me? That sounds like the plot of a bad horror movie. Casey, I'm not making this up. I swear to God. Do you want to know how I know this sounds like the plot of a bad horror movie? Casey, killer email, Shay. Are you fucking kidding me? That sounds like the plot of a bad horror movie. Casey, I'm not making it.
Move, you snapped-out whore from China. Move, you whore. Suck my dick, bitch. Suck my dick, bitch. God fucking damn it. Suck my dick, bitch. God fucking damn it. God fuck it. Now fuck up and take that knight with that fucking rook. I got something for your ass, you punk ass fucker. Come on, you punk ass fucker. You're gonna lose one of those fucking pieces. You fucking whoremonger from China. That's just the name of that game. You're gonna lose one of those fucking pieces. You fucking slutmonger. Come on, you fucking whore. Stupid! Oh, wait a minute. God fucking damn it. Come on, you slut. God fucking damn it. God fuck it. Come on, you fucking bitch. Come on, you whore. Suck my whore dick, bitch. Come on, you fucking dick sucker. Come on, you fucking bitch. Come on, you fucking bitch. Time to get myself another fucking whore. God damn it. God fucking damn it. God fuck it. God fuck it. slant-eyed slut.
So you want to ride home? I thought that was a given. So I'm thinking about calling a tumbling practice tomorrow.
God fucking damn it.
I just want to be ready. Hey, cheer camp is coming up, and that's a whole other world.
God
You do
fucking
realize you
damn it.
have nothing to worry about, right? You're a shoo-in for camp champion. You're sweet.
I want
And I love
God
you.
fucking
But there are
rematch.
other cheerleaders from other squads who are just as good. Maybe, but you're the best. Oh shoot. I think I left my water bottle on the field. Are you sure?
I want God
Not
fucking
in here.
rematch.
Is that it?
Suck my dick, bitch.
I could have swore I had it on the field.
God fucking damn it. God bucket.
So, I heard that Andrew from Roosevelt is going to be at cheer
God
camp this
fuck
year. Dibs! What?
Okay.
Wow, she got some Jules Got arms. Has she got Jules Got arms?
Don't get too close to me.
God bucket.
I love you. Hearts break so easily.
God bucket. Come on, you fucking bitch. Now buck up and get that whore. God fucking damn it. God bucket. God bucket. Rematch me, you slut. God fucking damn it. God bucket. God bucket. God bucket. God bucket. God bucket. God bucket. God fucking damn it. God bucket. Move, you whore. Move, you fucking whore. Fucking slut. Come on, you slut bitch. Now fucking move this point over here. Come on, slut. God fucking God fucking God fucking she's cute. Boop. Suck my slut. Suck my slut, you fucking slut. Whoremonger. bring out that whore. Suck my slut. Fuck up and move that floor. Here comes the Uzi spit coming right here. Uzi spit. Yeah. Motherfucker. God damn it. Come on, you goddamn motherfucker.
So the caller is from Texas. I don't know how to pronounce your name, so I'd just as soon ask you to pronounce it for me. Are you there? Perhaps Amin?
Yeah.
Hey, Amin.
Amene, yeah, that's right.
Amene.
Yes. Hi, how are you guys?
Just fine. Amene, the floor is yours. I am so excited to become a Christian if the notes are as promising as they seem to be.
The reason I called you is really just to discuss about the existence of God and the Bible is the whole truth. Inspired by
it. This goddamn
the Bible. So before I go there, the whole Bible. I mean, from Genesis all the way.
You goddamn motherfucker.
These places, like, they look like a party and they look so fun, it looks like a concert, but they don't understand, like, the mental kind of torment that you kind of go through because of the poor theology that's being taught.
Welcome everyone to Reclamation of the Emboldened Initiative. I am Naomi Wright, the founder and executive director here at BE, and we exist for those who have been impacted by spiritual abuse, and we do this by providing support for the prevention, medication, and re-victimization, creating a safe place to ask hard questions, to heal, and to begin rebuilding. And today we have a personal story for you. I know so many of you are really impacted by these and appreciate them so much because it offers you an opportunity to find words for your own experience and to be able to connect with someone else and provide some of that sense of solidarity and the healing process that you're going through. So Nikita had reached out to us and shared a little bit about her story and then was open to coming on and sharing with all of you. So I'm going to jump right in here with the first question and ask you, how would you describe the religious group you were involved with? Was it an unhealthy church? Was it a cult? Was it like, what was it?
China.
So I would definitely put it under the hypercharismatic label, along with a lot of progressive theological views. And I don't know, it depends on how you classify it. I wouldn't go as far as to say like a full-on cult, but definitely some cult-ish type mentality.
As Glenn Dillon said to me and my cousin,
definitely like a
goddamn
you're either with us or against us type thing, and you do get cut off when you leave. So some tendencies to be culty, but very
my computer's acting all fucky.
And atmosphere.
Quit acting all fuck you, stupid computer.
Okay, so more of that
slut.
love bombing kind of aspect, it sounds like.
Absolutely.
Come on, you goddamn motherfucker.
Yeah. And well, I'm actually going to go ahead and just ask you this since you mentioned it. What do you see as, and this isn't a quiz, we can dialogue on it, but like from your experience, what do you think is the difference between like genuine love and care for someone? I know you share that you're married, you have a family, so like genuine love and care for someone and a love-loving environment. What do you think is the distinction from what you've lived?
So there's a different type of genuineness that's behind it from what I've experienced. And I was actually listening to a sermon recently where they were saying that biblical love is like an act of the will accompanied by your emotion. Sometimes we have to choose to be loving. It's not always like if we just live solely based on emotions, it would just be purely hectic. So it's like you're choosing to do something in a biblical way, but then also in the love bombing place, it's like we're doing these things because we need to show you, but they're not actually creating the relationship and the foundational parts of what a loving relationship would look like. And actually, after I wrote you the last time, I started looking into the like physiological reaction that happens because love bombing tends to happen in a narcissistic relationship. So when you start looking hormonally, what's happening I was personally depressed when I first started going to this specific place. So when you're going there and they're like kind of stroking your ego and they remember your name and they're like on your face and they got you a gift, it creates these like happy hormones within you, which is what a lot of people crave. And I will say personally, I would crash Sunday afternoons. And it's like, well, why was I happy when I was there? And then I leave and I feel empty. So it's just like, I think the word genuine is the main difference, I guess, in the two categories.
Yeah, I would. I've absolutely seen that myself. And there's something. Gosh, I'm trying to think of how to put my finger on it as well. Like you're speaking to it, and I'm kind of having it sounds like maybe a similar struggle too. Like the difference between it's genuine, and yet I can choose to love someone and be like, well, is that like emotionally genuine if I'm choosing? Well, yes, because like I want to choose that. There's still like this genuineness. Like if I'm thinking about my husband, like if it's like, say he's irritating me this morning or something, it's like, okay, like I'm just feeling irritated. Am I going to respond rudely and coldly, or am I going to choose to respond well and in a loving way? And there's a real desire to still love him well and make those choices just for the sake of being Christ-like and treating him as someone made in the image of our Lord.
Fucking damn it.
Not because I'm hoping to get something from him. And I'm wondering if that's a piece of it too. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I definitely agree because actually too, when I was looking into like the love bombing technique, there's not a lot covering that for whatever reason, especially in a group setting. It's more so in like a relationship setting.
God damn it.
But they were kind of talking along those lines of it's like they bring people in to get something out of them. So if you think about certain places that kind of fit the mold of what I'm talking about, it's almost like they're recruiting people in. They're going to bring money in. They're going to bring more people in. Like, they get the right types of people that are going to bring more things. They're going to serve. They're going to, like, they're gaining something out of them. And not that we shouldn't tithe, we shouldn't serve, you know, we shouldn't be a part of stuff, we shouldn't bring more people to church. Like, those are all good things, but it's always with, like, a bad motive behind it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's more of it. There's an agenda versus I'm doing this because it's right and it's good.
Mm-hmm.
And it's as it should be. I'm doing this because there's something else here that has to be accomplished. And that we can end up feeling that lack of genuineness that you're speaking about. I have found for myself and others I've spoken with, we get much more attuned to it as we go along. And at least for me, a very low tolerance for it.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
God damn it.
Yeah. So you mentioned already that you were feeling depressed, you were feeling down at the time when you started going to this church. Would you mind expanding a bit? Not necessarily like on the reason for the depression, you don't have to go there unless you would like to, but like where were you at overall? Like relationally, spiritually?
Oh, I was a hot mess in every of the categories you listed.
God,
I moved and I was living in a place where I wasn't happy. I was at a job where I wasn't happy. I didn't really have community. I didn't have anyone. Prior to that point, I feel like it's important to preface, I grew up kind of weird, going to like a legalistic, more Methodist type church, but then it was normal in the home to have the prosperity gospel on the television in the morning.
You goddamn
for lack of just naming names. So listening to all that type of stuff, very word of faithy. And I had some pretty severe health issues for a few years. And utilizing the techniques that the word of faith movement teaches you leaves you broken still. It does not give you anything because it's lacking the truth of the gospel. So I felt super disconnected spiritually because I'm like, oh, I'm doing what they're telling me to and it's not working. I remember going to a church where they were praying over me and they did it so many times, and I'm not I don't want to be the center of attention. So I lied and said that I felt better so they'd leave me alone because I just don't like it. But then I left there feeling way worse than I ever did when I started going because it's like, okay, well, they thought that I was going to get healed and didn't. So it must be there's something wrong with me. So it was kind of this like super long process of just disconnecting. And then I didn't know it at the time, but I was definitely into a lot of new age type practices because I was just grasping for anything to make me feel like complete and whole. And so I kind of just stumbled through a lot of that. And then I was in contact with a friend who lived around where we live now, and he was like, oh, if you come home this weekend, come to church with me. And I was like, oh,
come on, you goddamn motherfucker.
No, I'm good. I really just wasn't feeling up to it. And then he kind of convinced me, so I started going. And so then you put all the combinations of everything together, and I think they kind of prey on people who are needing to feel a part of something, that are needing to feel like they're important, like they're valued. And so I was just like a perfect match. But the problem was, it ended up being, I also don't conform very well. So I ended up creating conflicts and stuff because I tend to be a little bit more bold than some would like in the church setting. So that ended up coming in handy. But I think that that's kind of like the catalyst there, is when you're in that place, they see that. And I'm not saying all of them are malicious, because I know that some of them really aren't, but I do think that sometimes it is, they're seeing that. They see the red flags that you're bringing, and they know where you're at.
Yeah, so there's definitely a variety there in how groups will operate. Some it's incredibly targeted, some it's just sort of not. They're sort of out just sharing, and the people that come are the people who tend to be looking for something. I mean, if we're totally have our needs met, our social needs, our spiritual needs, if we're all connected and it's good, we're less likely to really participate because we're living out of that sense of fullness. And so, yeah, we probably wouldn't even have the time on our schedules or bother to prioritize. And yet, for those of us where we're in a season where we don't have it, of course, we're going to be more open to, if this is possible, like, let me go ahead and give it a try. And then you go in and you're getting those, feel good dopamine hits, basically. And then, experiencing the crash after and feeling like it sounds like that sort of matched what you felt when you were in the Word of Faith aspect of your upbringing anyway, where like, wait, is there something wrong with me? It sounds like those kind of had a parallel of, okay, you're kind of living this again, like there's something wrong with me for why I'm feeling this way.
God damn it.
Yeah, absolutely. Because every time you would leave, you'd go through the same cycle over and over again. So then you think, well, when I go to church on Sunday, I'll get that refreshing type, feeling all over again.
Yeah, and that can, of course, be good. So for anyone who's watching, listening, if you go to church and you feel refreshed and refueled, that's a beautiful thing. What we're talking about here is more of like getting a hit.
Damn it.
And then having a crash after that and having to recover and not having that steadfastness in our relationship with the Lord, where it's more so focused on these other aspects. And please know, Nikita, I'm not saying this like, this is a part of our journey that we go through.
Come on, you slut.
And we need to be, that's what discipleship is really about, is learning how to have it be as it really needs to be for us to be sustained, for us to have that ongoing depth of relationship, and for that relationship to be sustainable.
God damn it.
And when we go into an environment that's very love bombing and going to be very works-based and has its agenda and is potentially targeting people, that's not what we're getting taught. We're more so getting taught everything that you need is here, and so you have to keep coming back here for it. We're not actually being told. It's kind of like, being that saying of like, teach someone to fish versus giving them the fish. Like, we're not being told to fish. We're not being taught how to fish. We're just being handed the fish and like, we'll keep coming back here for the fish. Like, I'm not going to actually teach you how to really have this genuine, authentic relationship with Jesus for yourself.
God, fuck it.
When you look back at what that season of your life looked like, and like, so in reflection, what do you think were the
Ruth Ann in Virginia. You're live with Eric and Jamie. How's it going?
Move, slut.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, we're doing
Move, you whore.
Marvelously. Yeah.
Great. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you. We can hear you well. Yeah. What do you want to talk about?
Okay, fantastic. So before I get to
move,
what
whore.
I wanted to say, it's really quick. I just want to echo what the gentleman earlier, and I feel like all of us are feeling. I just wanted to give my condolences, Eric, and
move, you whore.
Really sorry to hear the story, and
street whore.
Uncle, I'm a Christian, but despite that, I don't believe in
street whore. Come on, you bloody street whore from China.
But not to get into what I believe how that goes, but I don't support
you stupid motherfucker.
That's good. That is much more moral than the people who preyed on him, that's for sure. Now, I will say that if you say he's in a better place, that's probably going to be
upsetting thing to tell me. You stupid motherfucker.
Stupid
fucker. You stupid fucker.
I'm not going to get into that
at all. Stupid fucker.
Okay, so,
stupid fucker.
I just wanted to say, so, if my name is Ruth Ann, guess where that came from?
Fucker.
So,
God,
it really actually, really bothers me that
come on,
your show and shows like your show and other atheists, like I have some atheist relatives, and other atheists try to kind of convince people not to follow God, not to be Christians, and convert them to the atheist faith instead of respecting what people believe. And one of the key arguments that I've never really listened to something like I'll just say my atheist, I'll call him Mike, my atheist friend Mike says, one of the things he always says to me is he's like, you can't see God, you can't feel God, you never talk to God. I have spoken to God, I have seen God, I have felt God. I believe him every day. And I just don't think it's right for you all to invalidate my experiences.
Well, no, we're not invalidating your experiences, and the reason that we do what we do is the same reason that people de-radicalize white supremacists or persuade people to vote a specific way. Beliefs matter. They inform actions.
I
mean, either your experiences are legitimate or they're not. We don't need to delegitimize them if they're not legitimate. Right? So if you care about the truth of a thing, and it is true that your God exists, then it doesn't really matter what we say, right? Because it would be true. But if it's so upsetting that we would go through that, then it's worth having the conversation, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I want to go back to what you said just a second ago.
Okay, and then I actually want to ask you what you mean by the atheist faith, because that just blew my mind.
Okay, I'll be happy to go over that.
Okay, good.
Great. But back to what you said about it doesn't matter what you say. It does matter what you say because I'm just talking about you guys from, like, I think I listened to, like, maybe 15 minutes of the show. But what you guys are doing is you all are actually turning people against Jesus, well, God, and by having shows like this. And, I mean, I don't come to your house and try to convince you to be a Christian. And, okay,
God,
this is what I would do. I don't believe in...
Okay, hold on, Ruth Ann. Hold on. So you found our YouTube channel where people call in to us to talk to us, and you're comparing that to us going into your home and forcing a conversation on you. Is that right?
Well...
Because that really doesn't add up, does it?
Well, not exactly, because...
Not even close.
God damn it.
Well, you're a danger to the youth because they have access to YouTube. And it really bothers me that, you know, one day my nieces and nephews, I don't have kids, but, you know, my nieces and nephews can come across this and start believing this stuff. And that's the problem, you know. It's like...
So that's our life story. They're hoping that your nieces and nephews find the show.
No, not on our watch. Believe me, absolutely not.
So why are ideas so dangerous? I mean...
Well, it's because they're false ideas.
Well, then if it's false, it'll show itself to be false, won't it, Ruth?
Right, but children are impressionable.
Exactly. Actually, if I can jump in here, Ruth Ann, I entirely agree with you. I have young nieces and nephews. I don't want them to be told what to think, and I think that there are false ideas that are very dangerous.
So dangerous. I mean...
So
that's our life story.
Bothers me that, you know, one day my nieces and nephews, I don't have kids, but, you know, my nieces and nephews can come across this and start believing this stuff. And that's the problem, you know. It's like...
So that's our life story. They're hoping that your nieces and nephews find the show.
No, not on
God
our watch.
damn it.
Believe me, absolutely not.
So why are ideas so dangerous?
God fucking damn it.
I mean...
Well, it's because they're false ideas.
God
then
fucking...
if it's false, it'll show itself to be false, won't it, Ruth?
Right, but
God
children
fucking
are impressionable.
Exactly. Actually, if I can jump in here, Ruth Ann, I entirely agree with you. I have young nieces and nephews. I don't want them to be told what to think, and I think that there are false ideas that are very dangerous that they could very easily be subjected to.
God
Just
damn it.
out of curiosity, how strongly do you stand opposed to missionaries?
Come on, you goddamn motherfucker.
I don't really necessarily always agree with that. It depends on the situation. Like, for example, if a missionary is just, like, let's say, for example, going to your house and, you know, like, you know, in an area that doesn't need Jesus. I mean, there's certain countries where, you know, people don't have religion and they don't have the morality that we get from religion in the United States. So, I mean, I agree with that in that case. And even in all cases...
I don't. Hold on. What morality comes from your Bible that we don't have?
I think she's
God damn it.
I think she's saying that the United States does, but that there are other countries.
Right, and what morality do they not have that your Bible needs to give them?
Well, I mean, I don't want to get into that.
Well, no, I do. I do. Give me an example, please.
Okay. Let's say you went to a country, right? And they were kind of like, didn't have a lot of education. And so, if they don't read the Bible, they don't understand what the things that God said. And so, if you look at the Ten Commandments, like, you know...
Let's go through the Ten Commandments. What's the first commandment?
Which ones?
I am the Lord thy God, right? What's okay. Show me where I need to be morally. I am the Lord thy God. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Where is the moral judgment? Let's go to the second one, right?
Not believing in God is immoral.
How?
Fucking damn it.
Let's go to the next one. Thou shalt not worship false idols.
That's immoral.
How? I mean, we can go through them, right? What's the next one?
God damn it.
Well, it depends on which version you're...
Yeah, I mean, we can, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife. Thou shalt not have lust in your heart. What does that have to do with the way you behave towards other people? I don't care if you look at somebody.
Just out of curiosity, when you're talking about the what is called the Law of Moses, but that in the Old Testament are described as instructions from God to his people on the correct way to behave, do you still believe that all of the instructions about the correct price to pay if your oxen breaks free and gores the oxen of your neighbor, like the correct payment in shekels, presumably that is also a moral instruction?
Dick, bitch.
I'd actually like to stick with the Ten Commandments for a little bit. Thank you.
Sorry.
Okay, so
you're right.
the third
Those
commandment.
ones are more sensible.
And she brought up the commandments, so I'm going to go on the commandments. Third one, keep the Sabbath holy.
Yes, I believe that you need to keep the Sabbath holy.
Okay, and that is a moral pronouncement.
Yes.
Okay, what is immoral about that? If I have to work on a Sunday, right, so that I can put food in my mouth, or keep a roof over my head, why is that immoral?
Well, I think that God can make exceptions if it's
Oh.
as long as
Can God make exceptions to all the other rules?
No, not necessarily, but
Just to this one?
There's a lot of gray area. So let's do this one. So,
Okay, then let's go to the next one. Honor thy father and mother.
No, I want to Can I
God damn it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so, I'm sorry. So, God, if you have to work on Saturday, because you know the Sabbath is Saturday, so if you have to work on Saturday, or if you have to work on Sunday, as long as you have a day and you keep it, you know, as long as you have a day that you set aside, that's fine.
Just as a quick side note, so to you, the Sabbath just means keep the Sabbath holy just means 1 out of every 7 days, it doesn't matter which.
Because that's not what's in the book. That's your own take on a thing.
No, that's your take on it, though.
No, I'm asking because at one point you just said, sorry, I didn't want this to be contentious and I didn't want to interrupt your flow, but what you said was, so if it's Saturday or Sunday, because that was going to be my question, is which day is the Sabbath, and if are changing the rules as the early church did because they didn't want to be associated with Jews, moral or immoral, but does it matter which day of the week?
No, it doesn't matter which day. I was just saying that because that's what it was originally. I mean, there's
goddamn
context
motherfucker.
change, right?
So to be clear, we can change the law then?
Yes.
Okay.
I can change that. Not me, for you.
Sorry, can you repeat that? I didn't quite hear what you...
I said God can
Goddamn
change it.
motherfucker.
Okay.
Not me. I'm not...
Motherfucker,
So you believe that God,
right here, you slut.
1, changed which day was the Sabbath from Saturday to Sunday, and then 2, at some point, changed it so it's okay that it's any day.
Fucking slut.
But none of that's in the book. It's just your take on it.
Where is it that that's communicated from God?
Yeah, I do believe that. I do believe that God... Well, I believe that God... Because, for example, all these laws...
Now, fucking remove that bishop right here.
Back in the day of Moses, God doesn't come down and,
Stupid slut.
destroy New York, for example, because people aren't following the law. But he destroyed the whole world with the flood, but he doesn't come back and do that anymore because the contexts are different.
Should he have done that in the first place?
Yeah.
I mean, I believe that. Well, I believe that God. I, as a person, cannot understand and don't question God's reasoning.
Okay, but you can understand his law.
Yeah, and personally, I think what you're leaning into, Ruth, is a cop-out. Because just because I don't understand, I'm still right. That's basically what you're saying. I don't understand it, but I'm still right and you're still wrong. That doesn't follow. But let's go to the next commandment. I want to go to the next commandment. Okay. Honor thy father and mother. So tell me about why it would be immoral not to honor thy father and mother. I'll give you an example, right? Abraham took his son Isaac to murder him on a cliff because he heard voices in his head.
Yeah.
Right? Would you think that it's an okay thing for children to be totally cool with their parents murdering them or slaughtering them?
Well, the child's not going to be okay with it.
The child's not going to be, or would you be okay with it?
God damn it.
I mean, no.
Why?
Like, it's because I'm not that strong enough to be able to go through something like that.
That's gross.
If God told me that I had to, let's say, murder like 25 people, like, I wouldn't be able to do that. No, I'm not.
No, and that's because you're a better person than that, Ruth. You're a better person than that.
God damn it.
Because you're talking about a book that was written over 2,000 years ago, especially when we're talking about the Old Testament, over 2,000 years ago by Bronze Age goat herders. At the time, it was necessary. But right now, as we're looking at it, honoring thy father and mother is nice in the most part, but it doesn't mean that it's something that we need to stick to so solidly that it becomes immoral, right? I mean, we can continue, right? Number 5, thou shalt not kill.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, how can you say that killing is not immoral?
Well, let's take a look. There are different definitions. Some people say thou shalt not murder. Murder is, by definition, wrong. I don't need a Bible to have a definitionally wrong thing happen. I can say murder is wrong. I don't need to have that book telling me that.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Okay.
So,
God damn it.
And then also killing, right? You're talking about things that aren't necessarily unlawful. And there are justifiable things like protecting your family or
self-defense.
God damn it.
Self-defense, right? Things like that. And so, again, we're looking at a law that isn't very applicable. So now we're 5 into 10, right? 5 into 10, and you said that maybe one of them had gray area. So far, they all have gray area. But let's go into number 6.
Applicable. You said it's not applicable.
No, you said it has gray area.
No, but you said that the laws are no longer applicable.
Well, let's keep going and find out. Number 6, thou shalt not commit adultery.
Oh yeah, that's the one that I feel the most important.
Totally. More important than murder?
Well, not more important necessarily as in it. Well, okay, let's just put it this way.
Okay.
All sins are the
damn it.
through God, right? However, I would say that to keep order, that yes, it is more important not to have people murdering each other in this country, right? Okay, but I will say that much. But if you want to talk about committing adultery, it's a lot more common and applicable to a lot more people. So that's why I'm saying that, because it happens a lot more often than people who murder.
Sure.
So that's all my point.
What is adultery, Ruth?
It's cheating on your husband or wife. It's fornicating.
What's fornicating?
Oh, come on.
No, tell me. What is fornicating? If you're saying it's that important and moral, you can say what it is. What's fornication? Is it that stuff?
I'm saying that because you guys know what it is. Having sex outside of marriage.
That's fornication.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Outside of any marriage?
Yes.
What about gay marriage?
Oh, I'm not going to gay marriage. No.
I think that's wise.
To be clear, we're not forcing you to get gay married right now. You don't have to get gay married. We're just asking because I want to get to, is it only marriages consecrated in what you would see as a legitimate church?
Well, we know, yes. I'm just going to leave it at that, yes.
Okay, so interfaith marriages and marriages under the Islamic Sharia. Presumably, the people that are in those marriages having sex are committing adultery.
Yes.
Okay, so there's a loving Muslim couple. They've been married for 35 years. They live in this country, etc. When they have 3 children, they've committed adultery at least 3 times, is what you're saying?
So let's back up for a second. I want to say that I don't have, I'm not, against Muslims or I don't have Islamophobia or hate in my heart, okay?
I don't believe that you have hate in your heart, but for you to say that you're not against Muslims is disingenuous in your mind, because presumably you would like everyone to be led to Christ, and a person being a Muslim is them preventing themselves from being led to Christ, is it not?
Holy Ghost.
Right, and it's not me that says that, it's God that says that.
No, you're saying it
you're
right
saying that
now.
to us.
Yeah. You may believe that you're transmitting the word of God.
Yeah, but we're talking to you.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I read says, then, I am following the Bible, following what God says.
Yes.
And
you are saying what the word of God is.
And we're saying that those are not really great rules, but let's move to the next one.
Teaching men at the moment as well.
Yeah. But let's see. Thou shalt not steal.
Well, yeah, stealing is immoral.
Can you think of a moral time when it would be correct to steal?
No.
No? Have you ever seen Les Mis? Jean Valjean stole a loaf of bread to feed his starving family.
I mean, I suppose for him, but there's ways to get loaves of bread for your family.
No, we're talking about revolutionary France. There was no other way.
I don't agree with it. I'm sorry.
So should he have died?
I don't believe it was okay.
So if somebody has the chance to steal food for their family, or that family starved to death, you feel that the moral option, please correct me, is for those people to starve to death.
I feel as if God will provide for them.
Okay.
Okay, does God provide for starving children in third world countries?
Yes.
Really?
Then why do they die?
Oh, I have some depressing news for you, Ruth.
Children starve to death right now.
Every
day.
day.
I will concede that to you.
Okay. So when you say God will provide, very clearly, God is not providing.
And I think that's actually something worth breaking into, because does your God see those children starving to death?
Yes.
Does he have the power to feed them?
Well, let's just talk about children starving to death, and I know what atheists say. This is why I said there's atheists. Atheists definitely have a belief that they have.
Like what?
God damn it!
Anyway,
Fuck up and move that pole down here.
God gives us free will, right? And so,
does he?
Well, yes. So usually that's why these things happen. So God doesn't want us to be robots and not think for ourselves.
No, he wants to let children starve.
Because that's more important.
Yes.
But here's my point. No. But here's my point. So if children are starving, if things are going wrong in the world, it's because man has caused that.
Ooh, I got this one. I know the answer to this one. Okay. So Ruth, is there free will in heaven?
I don't know. I've never been to heaven.
Hold on. If there's no free will, then would you be you? Or would you just be an automaton, like you were saying? A robot?
Yeah, I wouldn't be me, but I don't know what's in heaven.
You wouldn't be you in heaven. So when you die, what makes you think you're going to heaven at all?
No, wait, I didn't say that there was a free will in heaven. I said I don't know if there is, because I don't know what's going to happen in heaven.
God,
okay.
Fucking damn it.
If you don't have free will, the way you're defining it, would you be you? Would you continue to be Ruth Ann, or would you be converted to some kind of robot? Because at that point, I can say Ruth Ann ceases to exist at the point that she dies, and a robot is added to heaven, right?
No, I would still be me.
Okay, so if you'd still be you, so you'd still have some kind of sentience, some kind of free will, maybe?
No, I don't think so, because I think that, okay, see, I don't like the way you're defining it, though. I think that once you go to heaven, there is those things.
No. I get that. But I'm saying that if there is free will in heaven, and let's face it, Satan turned against God, and I don't think God wanted that, so I would consider that a free choice, right? I think that you choose, right? I mean, at least as far as I've been told, so please correct me if I'm wrong, but when you go to heaven, aren't you choosing to worship God forever and ever and all that good stuff?
Amen.
I don't want to look at them hard dits. God fucking damn it. Dick sucker. Come on, you dick sucker. God fucking damn it. God fucking damn it. God bucket. Come on, you fucking slut from China. Suck my slut, you Chinese whore. Fucking slut. God damn it. Come on, you whoremonger. Oh, goddamn whore. God fucking damn it. God fucking. God fucking damn it. Come on, you bitch. Come on, you bitch. You my fucking tea. Got that fucking poem. God fucking damn it. God damn it. See that? God damn it. Come on, you goddamn motherfucker. God fucking damn it. Fucking bitch. If I can't win, you can't win, you fucking son of a goddamn slut. God fucking damn it. Holy fucking. God fucking damn it. Oh, goddamn thing. Goddamn. God fucking Holy Ghost, damn it.
I might be wrong.
Yes, and I mean, but why would you not want to? I mean, God brought you to heaven, God brought you to the beautiful
And God killed tens of thousands of babies. I really think that God's got a lot to answer for, but let's talk about that. If you are choosing, then you have free will. And if there is free will in heaven and no evil, that means your God can create a heaven or a place at all where there's both free will and no babies dying. So why would God do that? Why would God create such
Why would
evil
God
here?
wait to do that?
Yeah, because if you can have free will, I mean, wouldn't it be bad enough if you stub your toe? Right? Why does there have to be cancer? Right? Wouldn't it be bad enough if you sprained an ankle? Why do you have to have, leeches that eat your eyeballs and shit like that? Weird stuff all over the world that's horrifying. Flesh-eating bacteria and diseases where people's insides melt away. I mean, that's a little much, isn't it?
I mean, I don't know why God has made the... I mean, I don't... But God needs to understand that, So
to be clear, you don't know God's reasoning, but you know that it's there, and you know that this is God's will, and you know that this is good. I'm just checking here. Are the things that I'm saying accurate?
Can I just add something really quick to just tell you how I know that there is a God, because that was originally why I was calling.
Okay.
And all of this is connected actually, so I'm glad we went down this path, and I appreciate that.
Oh, good.
So you say, you're asking me, how do I know this is God? How do I know this and that or whatever? By the way, I don't think that you're reading out of the King James Version, so I don't know. Anyway,
Ruth, you don't know me at all. I have read King James, I've read NIV, and I've read ESV. If you really want to go into that, we can. Let me know which version.
No, I was saying you weren't just reading out of the King James Version when you were reading any of this. But anyway, back to what I'm saying. So I have had conversations with God in my dreams. And I remember, when I was about 6, 7 years old, maybe a little older, I don't know. But, and this was 20 years ago. So I was doubting God, and I don't know, I just kind of lost my way, and I don't know. But anyway, I prayed to God, and I said, God, please send me a sign that you are you, that you exist, that you are the loving God that I want to believe that you are, right? And that same night, I had a dream, and God actually appeared to me in this dream, and he told me, well, I don't want to get into all of it, it's personal, but he talked to me about some things that really gave me comfort. And why would that happen? And then,
because you were thinking about it, Ruth.
Yeah, because you had a dream.
And because how can you show us that that dream was true?
Yeah.
I can't show you because it's my personal relationship with God.
No, it's your personal memory and it's your personal dream.
It's your dream.
But you can having a relationship with a dream is kind of weird to say, right?
But God appeared in the dream.
Okay.
You claimed that you had a conversation with a person, and that's your evidence that a God exists, and that's your evidence that there's one particular version of the Bible that's correct? Is that the entire pillar of your faith, ma'am?
No, I've had lots of things about it.
Sorry, your volume's dropped out a little bit.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, sorry, I think we're having a little bit of a...
Hold on.
There it is. Hey, you're back.
Okay, is that better?
Much better.
Okay. So, I've had lots of dreams. I've talked to God.
I stuck my dick in his butt.
And
twisted.
Not to get into all of that, but I can give you so many examples. And whenever I ask God for something, he sends me a sign. And I just don't think that could be a coincidence. And I mean, I know that you guys like don't believe in God and whatever, but I mean, I feel as if you have these same experiences as I have, that you would believe in God. And
I've had those same experiences. I don't believe in God.
Yeah, I believe for many, many years. And the fact is when you're, it's called counting the hits and ignoring the misses. Have you heard of that before?
I have, and I will tell you that God, sometimes the answer is no.
Okay, how can you determine a no answer from God not existing?
I mean, I think that when I've gotten a no answer, I've prayed to God, and He's helped me understand why it was a no. Or something in my life has happened, and I knew that I wasn't ready for it. And so, I mean, and if I've asked God for something selfishly at times, He may not give it to me.
Wow.
And
Can you give me an unselfish thing that God has given you?
An unselfish thing that God has given me?
Yeah, I mean, I want to know how these miracles work. I want to know how God responds to you. And is it the same way? Do you wake up and there's a feather on your pillow every time that God visits? Is there something physical, tangible, anything that can tell you that, oh, this was different from a dream? I mean, I want to know why you're giving credence to these dreams when they can just be dreams.
Well, I mean, yes, and I thought that I had given that example, but then that was the first one, that I prayed to God and then He appeared to me in the dream. So I think that is that God showed me that He was God, that He was hearing and answering my prayer, and I was really, He knew that my heart was in turmoil at the time as a 7-year-old, and He responded to that, and I haven't hardened my heart to God. I mean, I think that once you harden your heart and maybe you become an atheist,
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm going to stop you right there, because where you're going with that is like, oh, I think once you harden your heart to God, that's why you've come to a different conclusion. No, I had those same experiences. What you've just described is a 7-year-old praying and having dreams. If you do a little bit of research into humans finding patterns and how we're pattern-seeking creatures and humans having dreams, and you approach this with a critical mind, I think you might come to a different conclusion. If you don't harden your mind to reality, I think you might see that what you attribute to God is you being human.
God damn it.
Right, but you can't use that. You can't use science to explain God because it's just...
Science is a process of examining the world critically. What you've just said is equivalent to saying you can't look at the world, you can't try and understand the world to try and understand God. That's what that sentence means.
But I understand what you're saying, but I mean, I guess I just have such a different mindset. I
do.
I agree.
Ruth, you have a different epistemology. Can I explain epistemology to you?
Sure.
Sure. Your epistemology is your toolbox. It's what you use to decipher the world around you and determine what is true and what is not true. Right?
Right.
You have a different set of tools in your toolbox than we do. And because of that, you come to different answers about what you hold as true in the world around you.
Yeah.
And so what we're saying is that toolbox, those tools, should be useful everywhere you go. And when you have a tool in your toolbox that does not lead you to truth, you need to get rid of that tool because it is not useful. Right? So if I were to say I had a personal experience and I am God,
right here.
Would you believe me?
No.
If I were to say I do miracles every day, would you believe me?
No.
Why?
Because you haven't shown me that you're God.
Okay, show me your God and then we can talk. Because you have a pretty sound epistemology about my views, but it seems like you don't have a very sound epistemology about your own. How come you have a much higher standard of evidence for other people, but it appears that you don't have the same standard of evidence as your God, or for yourself, right?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think that we just...
No, I did have a... Oh, go ahead. We look at evidence in different... I absolutely agree. And I encourage you to study your epistemology and determine what tools are best to use to ascertain what is true and not true about the world around you. And make sure those tools stand up everywhere you go. I did have a question come up in the chat. and I do want to bring it up.
Okay.
It was from Nikki, and the question was in the depths of depression and in the hardest point in her life, she prayed and begged God for any kind of sign, and none came.
God fucking damn it.
The question was to respond to that, and I'd actually like to add a little bit more, because I think that if you believe God is loving, then you would think that your God loves me just as much as he loves you. Would that be true?
Right. Yes.
So how come God didn't love Nikki enough to send any kind of message, but sends you messages all the time? And that kind of goes back to also the dying babies. How come God loves you more than people in third world countries?
Well, here, let her get one questions at a time. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
damn it.
With Nikki's situation, I feel really sensitive to that, and I'm really sorry that she went through that. But maybe God did reveal himself to her, and she just didn't see it. Like, I don't know.
Or maybe God doesn't exist.
Yeah.
No. But also, maybe if she doesn't believe in God, maybe it's not something that she wanted to see.
Or maybe it's something that she wanted to see, and maybe God doesn't exist.
That it is a possibility. I mean, you can't take that off of the table.
I don't agree that that's a possibility, but
God damn it.
Okay. Do you think it's a possibility that there are people that believe, perhaps even more firmly than you do, in the existence of a God that are entirely wrong?
Yes, absolutely. All the time.
Yes, but so your statement right there allows me to say, don't think you're looking at this objectively at all.
Because how do you separate yourself from those others?
Yeah.
Okay, I will admit that I'm not entirely objective, but
I don't think you're objective at all. I think you've set yourself up in such a way that you will never, ever, ever critically examine your own thought. Or critically examine the thoughts of other people.
Specifically pertaining to God.
Specifically pertaining to God. Because you have your answer, and it doesn't matter what question comes up, and it doesn't matter what happens in reality. This is what I'm getting from what you're saying. You have your conclusion, and you'll find whatever reason, whatever sentences you can say to yourself or to other people that will lead you back to a conclusion that you have absolutely no ability to doubt or critically examine.
And that's different from us, because
we don't do that.
Yeah,
but
we're actually listening, and we're willing.
I want to hear what your answer is to that idea.
To the dying babies?
No. To whether or not you have set yourself up in a place where you have crippled your own ability to critically examine claims about God.
I mean, no, I don't think I have at all.
Can you be wrong?
Yes. Is it possible for you to be wrong?
I can be wrong about many things, but one thing I'm not wrong is that God is real and that God exists.
Yeah.
I could be wrong about my interpretations of the Bible, or I could be wrong about lots of things.
So you're saying that no matter how much we talk to you and how much we try to rationalize with you, you're right, we're wrong, just because, and there's no way that you're going to think about it otherwise.
I mean, about this thing, I believe that you are wrong.
Okay.
I don't think that the way that you argue and the logic that you use is wrong, but I don't think that those are the types of arguments and logic that you could use when discussing God.
Please respond. Is it true that you think you're right, there's no way for you to be wrong, and it doesn't matter how much we talk about it, you know that you're right, end of story?
About God existing, yes.
Okay, that's done. There's no reason to talk to somebody for that reason. No.
Does anyone have I think there's a dictionary out there. Will you please turn to the definition for close-minded? That would be, I think, helpful.
I was actually thinking credulous. Maybe both. That's okay.
We'll fight about it later.
We will.
Because that's what us atheists do.
God fucking damn it. God fucking damn it. God fuck it.
If you're watching this on YouTube, you might have noticed that this episode is a week delayed. But if you want to get early access to our episodes, consider becoming a paying member. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share it with your friends. Thank you for all your support. I interviewed Alistair McGrath for my Channel 4 documentary, Root of All Evil. He's a theologian, a nice enough fellow, but I wouldn't go out of your way to listen to this interview unless it's to remind yourself what an empty, vacuous, non-subject theology is.
God damn it.
Well, thank you for really good at this. As you see, I'm doing my homework. I haven't actually read it before, and greatly enjoyed it. Alistair, for an apologist for religion, to be able to say that you once were an atheist gives you a certain amount of street cred, which not everybody can boast.
God fucking
Could you tell
damn
me
it.
about your journey from that position to where you are now? Well, I think when I was growing up in Northern Ireland, I did feel very strongly that religion was something that caused violence and difficulties. And certainly, I think growing up in Northern Ireland, you can see how easy that would have been to be the case. And back in the 1960s, of course, everybody was a Marxist, and I followed that intellectual fashion. And it just seemed entirely reasonable to adopt an atheist approach. And of course, at the time, I was studying natural sciences, wanting to go and study chemistry at Oxford. And again, it just seemed to me that the science and atheism almost, if you like, rolled into each other in a very intellectually satisfying way. I think when I arrived at Oxford and began to rethink things, I began to realise they weren't perhaps as straightforward as I thought. And certainly it was at that point that I really began to feel that Christianity offered a better way of seeing things and making sense of things than I'd imagined in the past. Right, thank you. This is sort of coming to the end of a fairly long period of interviewing people, and in America and in Israel, I've interviewed some fairly, what should we say, odd bedfellows of yours. And I sort of feel I ought to give you the opportunity to say something reasonable, because I've interviewed people who said, I'll believe in evolution when I see a monkey give birth to a man. Or I've interviewed somebody who thought that it was right that adulteresses should be stoned to death. I mean, how do you feel about being, in a sense, in the same camp as people like that? I think any member of a group, whether it's religious or anti-religious, obviously finds themselves in company they might feel at times rather uneasy about. For example, many atheists would be alarmed at some of the violent ideas you find in other atheists. And I certainly do find myself concerned about some of the more extreme views, some of the more violent views I find amongst the religious believers. And certainly I would want to try and emphasize the fact that Christianity is a rational faith, that certainly believes very strongly in God, but it also believes we can make sense of the world, and therefore to engage in dialogue with people like you is immensely important, partly because it advances understanding, but also because in principle it is extremely important to be critiqued by people with alternative viewpoints in case we've missed something. Yes. Well, I've been trying to engage in dialogue, and repeatedly was brought up short by the fact that there was no dialogue to be had, because at some point the trump card of faith is produced, and there is no arguing with that. Now, I know that in this book you take me to task for my, as you think, misunderstanding of faith, and I wonder if we could talk about that a bit. I have said that faith is not based upon evidence, but is what you need when there isn't any evidence. And as soon as there's any evidence, then you don't need faith anymore. And you have possibly rightly criticized me for not taking sufficient account of the way Christians have actually defined faith. And I understand that. I understand that the way Christians define faith does not correspond to the way I define faith. However, I don't understand where you're coming from when you do say something like faith is based upon reason. I mean, what kind of reason, what kind of evidence do you use to support your faith?
Well, I guess that's a very fair question. And certainly, I want to say immediately that we're talking about a slightly different situation than, for example, evidence that the moon orbits the Earth at a certain distance. I think that one of the big questions one has when one tries to make sense of anything that is big, for example, what is the meaning of life, why we're here, things like that, is that there are many explanations. And inevitably, this means we have to try to do what Gilbert Harman described as infer to the best explanation. In other words, there are many ways to explain this. That's a very difficult judgment, which is actually the best of these. And the real difficulty I find, and certainly I appreciate your concern at this point, is that evidence takes us thus far, but then when it comes to deciding between a number of competing explanations, it is extremely difficult to have an evidence-driven argument for those final stages. So what I want to say is that I believe faith is rational in the sense that it tries to make the best possible sense of things. But in the end, it has to move beyond that, saying, even though we believe this is the best way of making sense of things, we can't actually prove this is the case. And therefore, though I believe faith is rational in the sense that it gives the best possible case it can give, there is a point at which it goes beyond the evidence. And it's at that point, I think, that your concern that it might be irrational, I think, comes into play.
I suppose I would say that at that point where it goes beyond the evidence, that's when it becomes faith. And before that, it isn't faith at all. It's using evidence in the proper way that evidence should be used.
I think I take your point. I think what I want to say is that evidence perhaps leads to some probabilistic judgment. There is a possibility that there might be a God, but the question is, how do we actually confirm that? And there is a sense which I think one has to say, in the end, we have to make a decision of some sort. There is none, we can't make a decision, or there is a God. And in the end, I think that means stepping out in a degree of faith. Whether that is to say there is no God, we'll act on that basis, or whether we decide there is a God, we'll try and act on that basis.
Of course, I totally agree with you. We've got to talk probabilities. Nobody can be certain one way or the other. I think there is a tendency for people to say something like this. You cannot disprove the existence of God. Therefore, that immediately jumps us to 50-50, as though there was some sort of even probability, simply because you can either prove or disprove. I think we both agree that we don't want to jump to 50-50.
God damn it.
There are all sorts of probabilities that lie between 0 and 100, and which are not necessarily 50. Now, my attempt to get there is another thing that you've criticised quite strongly. That is to say that there is an inherent improbability in living things, in the complexity of living things, the statistical improbability of living things is something, after all, that creationists from Hay down have played upon. And I want to say exactly the same thing of a designer of any kind. Because it seems to me that any entity, any being capable of designing a universe, or an eye, or a knee, would have to be the kind of entity, I don't know in detail of course, but would have to be the kind of entity which would be statistically improbable in the same kind of way as the eye is. You strongly object to that, apparently on the grounds that Christian theologians don't say that. And I accept maybe they don't, but my question is, why don't they?
Well, I think there's some very good points to be made here. I mean, certainly I wouldn't say that simply because there is a possibility there may be God and a possibility there may not be God. It's a 50-50 situation. I think that we are in a situation of when we can't actually prove something precisely either way, we just try and make a judgment of the best probabilities and what the probabilities are. But I need to say that you could make a probable judgment cognitively. In other words, I think the evidence points this way, but existentially I feel I can commit myself to this.
God damn it.
Between the probabilistic side of things and being able to actually live a life as a response to that.
God
You make a good point, which I think is that this therefore raises the question of the extreme improbability of God. And certainly you've made that point well in your writings. I think one of the responses I would want to make, though, would be this. Perhaps God is extremely improbable. I mean, it's very difficult to actually arrive at an agreement on what this might be. But in the end, I think the ultimate question is going to be improbable or probable. The real question is there a God? And that is one of the problems I find, that there is a limit to there's a limited position to which probabilistic arguments can take us. In that, in one sense, statistically, you and I are very improbable, and we're both here having this very interesting conversation. And so, in one sense, there's this very difficult judgment about, given the fact that it may be improbable, does that actually mean that this is not the case?
We are indeed very, very improbable. Because we're so improbable, and all the rest of living things are improbable, we desperately need an explanation which explains that improbability. Now, as you know, evolution by natural selection does exactly that. It does indeed start from very, very simple beginnings, maybe not ultimately simple, but at least much, much simpler beginnings than anything which is produced. And the elegance of the theory is that over millions, billions of years, you get a gradual mounting up of the staircase of improbability. It all happens gradually. It never makes too big demands, too formidable demands upon our credulity. The sudden conjuring into existence of you or me, or any part of us, would indeed make unreasonable demands on our concept of chance. It couldn't happen. We really, really need a theory which starts from simplicity and makes complexity, makes improbability by gradual degrees. That, as we both agree, is what evolution does. Now, the point where we seem to slightly part company is that I think the same must apply to God. Now, you said correctly that I can't put a figure on it. I can't put a figure on the eye either, but everybody agrees intuitively that the eye is far too improbable to have suddenly jumped into existence. And I want to say the same about God, and you don't, and I don't understand why not.
I think we have a very interesting agreement here. And one of the points I'd like to try and make is that it is difficult to understand that in one sense the Christian understanding of God is above rather than within the natural process. And therefore for me, God is not so much someone who needs to be explained as someone who actually gives a ground of explanation. And so going back to this whole question of how we arrive at any decision about this, I often back to C.S. Lewis, who once wrote, "I believe in Christianity as I believe the sun has risen, not simply because I see it, but because by it I see everything else." And Lewis's point there, which I think I find quite persuasive, is that belief in a God actually gives you a way of seeing the world, which actually makes an awful lot of sense of it. Now, you'd rather come back and say, well, that does not prove anything, and I can see that point. But nevertheless, I believe that one of the questions we have to face here is what worldview, what way of seeing things actually enables us to make most sense of what we see around us and the implications for our lives. And so in that sense, I once said, I invoke God not as something within the natural order, but rather as something that actually makes more sense of the natural order than otherwise might be the case.
Sounds a bit to me like a sort of intellectual conjuring trick. I mean, you kind of consider it and say, well, if you believe in God, it illuminates everything else. And I could well imagine, for example, that it doesn't just illuminate the natural world for you, but illuminates a kind of internal world where you feel a subjective awareness which you can make sense of by assuming God. However, I think that's moderately weak, and it's even weaker when you're talking about the natural world, because you're still left with my point that it's not just that we don't need in order to explain the natural world, but it is positively improbable for exactly the same reason as the sudden conjuring into existence of an eye is improbable. So what I'm saying is that the argument of the creationists, and I know you aren't one of them, but their argument actually backfires very badly, because the ultimately complex entity, and he has to be even more complex if he's going to do the rest of what you require him to do, which is to illuminate your path, illuminate your internal feelings, to say nothing of answering prayers, forgiving sins, and all that kind of thing, plus making a universe. He's really got to be far, far more complicated than an eye, and therefore it's not just that we don't need him to explain the world because we've got evolution. He is improbable for exactly the same reason as the sun jumping into existence of living complexity was improbable before we understood Darwinism. I mean, if you believed in a God who evolved, I'd be much happier if you said, well, somewhere out in Alpha Centauri there's a superior form of life which is so immensely superior to us that we would call it God, and maybe it even seeded life here, and maybe it beams rays here to protect us and forgive our sins and all that sort of thing. I'd be much happier with that, because I could then say, oh well, the God actually evolved, and therefore we are no longer bereft of an explanation for his existence. But I don't think you do believe that.
I think there's some very interesting points there. I think the first point I want to make simply is this. I mean, it's not as if I believe in God because I think he's a good explanation. It's actually I believe in God for a number of reasons, and I find there's this explanatory bonus to us. In other words, that believing in God does give me a way of making sense of things, even though I don't actually think that's the primarily important thing about him. But then you make some very interesting points again about the complexity of God, about where God comes from and so on. And again, those are significant points which must be talked about. One of the observations I've made is that in talking to natural scientists, I mean, if we look at the split between religious believers and those who don't believe, I mean, it's roughly 50-50 with obviously a number undecided. And so I think I would have to say I didn't find the case for atheism compelling on the grounds of natural science at all. I think the issue, if you put, of where God comes from is a very significant question. But from a Christian perspective, that isn't really the question that is to be asked. The idea is that God was there before everything, and in some way God makes things in some way, and as a result of that is the ground of explanation. But as a Christian, I don't need to invoke God to explain why this TV camera works, why things fall from the earth in certain ways. It's much more I understand God to have made a framework which actually is regular and can be understood, and therefore that actually, in one sense, we have this very interesting historical observation. And in some way, Christianity may have catalyzed the emergence of natural sciences by stressing the regularity of the created order, and thus it's so amenable to scientific investigation and scientific explanation.
That, of course, could be a historically valid point, and I don't know enough history to judge.
Suck my dick.
When you say God didn't come into existence but was always there, I find that not really very helpful, because suppose I go back to my problem of explaining the eye, it would be no kind of answer to say, oh, the eye was always there. It would still be something that requires explanation in the sense that anything statistically improbable does. So I don't think you could get away with it with an eye. And I don't really see why you can get away with it with God. And I know that there are other theologians who have attempted to say, to deny.
Yeah.
Good morning. Let's turn our Bibles, if you would, to Judges chapter 3.
These places, like, they look like a party and they look so fun, it looks like a concert, but they don't understand, like, the mental kind of torment that you kind of go through because of the poor theology that's being taught.
Ruth Ann in Virginia, you're live with Eric and Jamie. How's it going?
Hi, how are you?
Hey, we're doing well.
These places, like, they look like a party and they look so fun, it looks like a concert, but they don't understand, like, the mental kind of torment that you kind of go through because...
Hey everybody, we want to welcome you to Life After Religion with Dan and Angela.
Hi everyone.
And today we have something rather serious to consider to share with you guys today. And it's really been weighing on my heart and Angela's heart to share this information because there's a question I want to ask you and I want you to think about it sincerely. And the first question is, are Jehovah's Witnesses in danger? I believe they are. I believe they're in grave danger. I think governing body is asking for more obedience, more thoughtlessness, more just close your eyes, blindly follow us. They're growing in power, and I think they're in grave danger. And then my second question was, could Jehovah's Witnesses become dangerous? And I have to say yes. And I don't want to say that. I've got a brother that's in there that I love dearly. I love lots of Jehovah's Witnesses. We see them on the street. They're kind. They're nice.
Not the
but
Jehovah's
there's something
Witnesses I
happening
made.
in the organization. There's something very, very, I'm going to use the word sinister. There's something very uncanny happening in the organization. And one of the things that I realized the other night when I was thinking is that Jehovah's Witnesses do not have the freedom to think. They haven't been given permission. The minute a Jehovah's Witness starts to think and say, maybe there's something wrong here, the governing body comes in and slaps their hands, calls them an apostate. So they have to follow. They're commanded to follow without any question. They just have to tie their blindfold on and follow. This is dangerous. It's not only dangerous to the witnesses, it's dangerous that they have to blindly follow. They're commanded to follow 100% obedience without question to 9 men. Think about that. Think about that. 100% obedience to 9 men without thinking. Now here's what's interesting. I'm going to rattle through this kind of quick because it's something we've talked about. But there's a pattern developing that's very, very, very scary. Very scary. It's getting morbid. The governing body is getting morbid. They're interjecting morbid fear, morbid hate, morbid everything, just morbid. And I'm going to walk you through it. But let's just go through a few things real quick that I'm going to show you that Jehovah's Witnesses have had the opportunity to run for their life. They've had wake-up calls. They've had massive, massive wake-up calls to say, get out of her, my people. Get out of false religion. Get out of Babylon the Great. And they have not heeded the call. And so I just want to walk you through a few of them here. One of them was this one here. We all know about 1975. This was not small, guys. This was massive. Stadiums were filled. All over the world, stadiums were filled. Chanting, here it is, here's the day. Then all of a sudden, 75 went by, right? People were selling their homes. People were their whole lives were on hold.
God
damn
it.
Right up to the end, and wham, the day passed, just another day, right? Well, we know governing body twisted everything up, but they should have ran. That organization should have been shut down. They should have been branded false prophets. But somehow this governing body was able to twist their minds, say it really wasn't the right prophecy, Jehovah's given us more light, and blah, blah, blah. And then we had the generation prophecy. That was the one I left in. That was the one 70 or 80 years from 1914, the world was going to end. We read the Revelation book, and of course that day passed. And then we had the overlapping generation, and we know it goes on and on all the way up to 2014. So these were all times, I feel, where the Holy Spirit's going, hello, it's time to leave. It's time to pack up and get out of here. These are false prophets. But it didn't happen, So here we go.
Stupid bitch.
Now we're going into another level of, I believe, testing. I think the governing body wants to test the people to see how indoctrinated they really are. I think they really want to test them.
I think they've already been tested.
Fuck this
yes,
shit.
They have.
Last game,
here's some more tests, right?
Banning the board,
They started selling off kingdom halls. These are kingdom halls we know that they built with their own hands. We worked all into the night. The women cooked. And we were so proud of those kingdom halls that we dedicated them to Jehovah. We should have ran, or Jehovah's Witnesses should have ran when you saw one of those kingdom halls become a church. When you saw a Baptist church move into that Kingdom Hall, you should have ran.
Run.
Yeah, run. You should have run. The reason you should have run is because you know how we feel about Babylon the Great. Basically, what Watchtower did was says, hey, Baptist Church, we have a building for you. How would you like to hit the ground running? How would you like to just be able to, it's built really well, we had our finest brothers put it together, they're insulated, they're wonderful, the sound system's great. How would you like to move in tomorrow and hit the ground running and start your preaching? You know, your Babylonian teaching is what we call it, right? We should have run. Angela said run. We should have run, right? We should have run out of there. When they started begging for money, when they started asking for money, I tell you, the campaign for money right now is more than a Jerry Lewis thing because it's 24/7. You know, they're asking for money. You know, this big, massive campaign they got, you know, wanting your SUVs, not your SUV, but your motorhomes, and, you know, 401ks, property, jewelry, whatever you have, you know, an extra house, right? Jehovah knows what you have, and honor Jehovah with your valuable things. So the witnesses should have run. Why should they have run? Because for years we bragged about the fact that we didn't collect money, we didn't ask for money. They are outright asking for money. They're outright guilting you for money. They're actually telling you in the Kingdom Hall, we can help you hook up to your bank account and do direct deposits. I mean, they're asking for money any way they can get it. And so we should have run. We should have run. These are wake-up calls. Or are they tests of obedience, right? Tony Morris, right, with his morbid comment. We've talked about that before when he made the comment that, what did he say?
God, bucket.
The enemies of Jehovah. Right. You know, the grotesque, morbid way he described it. That's not normal, guys. That's morbid. I mean, just imagining maggots eating our body. And, you know, the smoke going up like smoke. This is morbid hate.
Well, especially, I just want to say this again, you guys, is that who are they talking about? Who is Tony Morris talking about? He was talking about their children, their friends.
Hi guys, Jenna here.
Wow, she smells like spit. With spit.
Hi guys, Jenna here. I'm from Multispective, and I'm here to share with you a new episode. This is a really exciting episode. It is one that is very personal to me. The person I'm interviewing, Stefan Menzel, actually works on the team. And it took us some time to get into a conversation that was delving into our own personal lives. So Stefan was talking to me one day, started telling me about his own personal journey, and then we decided for him to join the podcast as a guest. Super excited about this episode. It is our 50th episode as well, so yet another exciting milestone for all of us. So in this episode, Stefan talks about his childhood being raised in a very conservative.
Wow, she smells like spit.
He talks about raised in a very
spit. This girl right here was spit.
Conservative Jehovah's Witness family. He talks in great detail about what are the rules and the guidelines of being a Jehovah's Witness member. He was raised into it more or less and had a lot of difficulty adjusting and identifying with the religion, or some may call it cult. And he then talks about how he escaped it and had to cut ties with everyone from his family in Germany and then rebuild his entire life all over again. He struggled with understanding what it means to just live in an ordinary world that was not confined by so many rules and regulations. He struggled with boundaries on certain issues, with drinking, with diets, with friends and relationships. So he talks about all the kinds of struggles he experienced thereafter, and the ways that he has also opened up his world in a lot of ways when he started to allow himself to be free. A very interesting episode. Stay tuned. I hope you enjoy the episode, and please understand that it is a personal recount of a personal journey, and it may or may not always be relatable to you, but it would be useful anyway to know a little bit about what Jehovah's Witness entails, what life is like inside and within it, and what can an individual do coming out of a very closed culture or closed society, and how they can seek out help in order to be able to reintegrate with society a little better. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Try to keep an open mind and really looking forward to hearing from you. Don't forget, please subscribe, drop a comment below, and let us know what you think. It's so crazy and awesome and all kinds of feels right now I'm having over having you on my podcast, on our podcast as a guest. So welcome to Multispective as a guest, Stefan. I cannot wait to share your story. I cannot believe that it took us such a long time to get into this conversation as well. But why don't we start off with you just telling our listeners where around the world are you right now? What are you up to? And who are you?
Thank you, Janika. Very exciting. Also feel a little bit nervous. That's probably the reason why it took so long. So, I'm here based in Bangkok, in probably the best country in the world, in Thailand. Since last August, I moved here, and I have to say I couldn't feel better. Yeah, so we know each other from my time in Shanghai. We worked together, or we started working together 2 years ago on the podcast, and since then it's been a great experience. Yeah, wouldn't want to miss it at all.
100%. Yeah, and I definitely think as well, like with your situation, I think like when you came across a Reddit post that I'd made saying looking for some people to join the team, I think the thing that kind of sparked that interest for you was not only was it that you were going to be able to explore your sort of talent and grow your learning and knowledge, but also maybe a connection with the theme of the podcast too. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, exactly. I like to listen to podcasts and to people's stories, because in every story there's something that I can take away, you know. And I could basically combine the little bit nerdy side of myself and also one of my hobbies. And it was like a perfect opportunity for me.
Yeah, and here we are 2 years later.
Yeah, exactly. Almost, yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? The funny thing is that you have such a crazy life experience, like such a story behind you. And the thing about stories and about people's experiences is that when you at first glance, when you look at someone, you cannot see what kind of experiences that they have had. And it took us like a year and a half for us to even open up about our own personal lives. I think, you know, we got so involved in the episodes and the passion in this project that we kind of, it took us some time to actually just sit down and be like, who are you? Where are you from? Like, tell me about yourself. And when we opened that conversation, which is so ironic, but when we did open that conversation, I think it started this whole new kind of like gate opening, right?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, this is normally not a story that I tell to everyone, but then I've decided, hey, how can I actually make a difference? Yeah, I have this history and I have this experience and I want to help other people. So how can I do this if I don't actually share the story? So here we are.
Yeah. I really appreciate it. I'm sure our listeners will too.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
let's just get right into it. Can you tell us where your story begins?
Yeah, so one of the triggers to actually make me want to share the story was a few days ago I went to a meetup, you know, the app meetup, right, where you can meet just strangers and then become friends at some point, because here in a new city I just need to make more friends. Yeah, it's kind of lonely at the very beginning, I think everybody can relate. And there was this girl who organized this, and at some point during the small talk I asked her, okay, so what do you do in your spare time? And she said, reading my Bible. Okay, yeah, this is the point that triggered me immediately, because I think we will get into this a little bit later. I have some experience with religion and cult, and yeah, this is one of the points that I want to share today, how you can protect yourself from abusive, from toxic cults.
No, that's crazy. And like, I guess this can be debatable for some people that might be listening because of the vast scale and size of this. But, you know, listeners, just to remind you that this is his personal experience and his own journey through it. So, yeah, let's just, you know, keep that in mind as we delve into this episode a little bit.
And also to add, my experience is like several years ago, so by now maybe things have changed, but I can only report on the things that I've experienced at the time.
God damn it.
So, cults or religion, do you, before we get into your story, do you personally see a difference between the two? And how would you define the two, or how would you see the difference?
Very difficult question. I don't think I can get the definition of a cult right, but in general, it would be people trying to control other people. That's my personal take on it. But to a certain extent, this also applies to every religion. Maybe almost every religion. Maybe Buddhism is a little bit more laid back, Hinduism, but in the end, where there's a person on top trying to control people underneath, that is something that really does not resonate with me at all, and where I'm very careful to stay away from, especially after my experience. Yeah.
So typically, when you get into a conversation with someone and they start telling you a little bit about their, religion that they're in, what is your kind of response? Like, how did you respond to that girl?
Live and let live. I mean, everybody can have their own beliefs and convictions. I don't really mind, as long as people don't try to impact me with their ideas and make me believe what they believe. Then I'm fine. And in fact, this is what that girl did. Yeah, she tried to convince everybody on the table that the Bible said this and the Bible said that, and now we're living at the end of the days, and Armageddon, Judgment Day is coming soon, and so on. It was quite a tough discussion for someone you only met an hour ago.
Yeah, no, I can imagine that. Yeah, because it's weird, because we're living in this sort of like woke culture where, everyone's entitled to their opinion and everyone is, free to speak their mind and their heart, but yet at the same time we're quick to be cancelled. Yeah. And we're very quick to be cancelled as well. There's the judgment that comes along with being very open about your opinion, right? But well, let's get into your story. So tell me again, where does it all begin for you?
Yeah, so I want to say that I lived two lives basically. One life in freedom that I'm enjoying right now, and the other life was back in the days when I was a cult member myself. And when I switched between the two lives, it was like a complete cut. I've lost my friends, I've lost the people that I care and who cared about me, and then I started over completely. So, and looking back, I don't regret it at all. But I think you're more interested to know what happened before that, right?
Yeah, let's talk about pre-cult, Stefan.
First life.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was raised as a Jehovah's Witness, and probably some of the listeners can understand what that means, or maybe they know them even. Jehovah's Witnesses are the people who usually on the weekends or in the evenings walk from door to door, or at least pre-COVID they did that, and try to convince other people that they have the only true religion, and if you want to live an eternal life, you have to join them. So this is probably the most obvious part about Jehovah's Witnesses.
It is a strand of Christianity, right?
Correct. They would call themselves a Christian religion, the only true religion, of course, like every other religion too. So how do you know?
Right. Yeah. How are they different? Why would this be a strand of Christianity? How is it different?
Yeah, I think what is the biggest difference between Jehovah's Witnesses and other religions is that they actually try to make new members. So as I said before, they go from door to door, try to convert people to their beliefs, and then also not only that, also like for example in the friend circle or with work colleagues, or when you're a student, you're supposed to talk to your classmates, and who knows, maybe at some point when they're older or whatever, they also join the group, I want to say. Yeah. And then of course they also have some of their own beliefs. For example, they don't believe in hell, which is quite nice to see, because personally I don't really like this concept of hell. It's kind of eternal, you make some mistakes in your life and then you're damned forever. Nah, I think that's not a nice concept. But on the other hand, they believe in heaven, but only for a certain amount of people. So one of the core beliefs is that after Judgment Day, they call it Armageddon, basically the final war between good and evil, only 144,000 people will go to heaven. These people have been pre-selected by some, I guess, arbitrary criteria. And the rest of the remainders, the survivors, they will live on Earth forever. So they will basically be immortal.
So in a way, people are motivated to do whatever it takes to find themselves in heaven because it's a select few.
I think the majority of people, they already accepted their fate, that they won't go to heaven anyway, because there are like 8.8 million Jehovah's Witnesses at the moment, and 144,000 is just a tiny fraction. So I think the majority of people, they're just happy if they can live happily ever after on Earth in certain, they call it paradise. So imagine this, you live forever, there is no war, no illness, no environmental damage, and everything is just like paradise. So you have everything you need, food, fun, friends, forever, peace. So this is basically the ideal world they're looking forward to. I mean, it would be nice to live in this kind of condition, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So it's like either way, you're in a pretty decent, good, happy sort of situation. So how did they then ensure that people were not going out of line?
Yeah, exactly. So this is the question. Of course, you can only experience these conditions if you follow the rules. Now, what are the rules? You have to go and try to convert strangers to the religion. The more the better. The more you do, basically, the more bonus points you get on your paradise account. Yeah. And of course, they are taking several rules from the Bible quite literally. For example, having sex before marriage is not allowed, and you can actually get disfollowed, basically removed from the group if you do things that bad that are against the rules.
Right.
For people like me who were born and raised into this cult, that's losing your entire life. So that would mean losing your friends, losing your family, losing basically everything that you've known, and start from zero. And this is exactly what happened to me later on. We'll get to that. But of course, this is one of the main reasons why people just stick to the rules, even though it's painful and annoying and it's against nature or people's natural instincts. But they still do it because they fear the consequences. And one of those consequences also being not having the chance to live in paradise forever.
And also, I guess, because you were very young, and I guess a lot of the children that were raised in this, there's a lot of sort of brainwashing as well going on in there that's making you believe that that's what
you can say that.
That's your path to life, right?
Yeah. And the brainwashing is actually very simple. At the time when I was a child, there were 3 services per week. Every Tuesday evening, every Friday evening. God forbid, literally, God forbid that you have some other plans Friday night. And of course, Sunday morning, just like other churches as well. So 3 times per week you have to go to service. And then additionally, for each service you have to prepare. So that means reading the literature and doing some research on the topics and blah, blah. And then, of course, on the other evenings, or whenever you have some spare time, trying to convert strangers. So this whole lifestyle keeps you busy. Very busy.
Is this a cult that's generally like pretty closed off to the world? Are people actually, you mentioned that people are allowed to sort of go out there and meet people and, introduce them to the cult, to the religion or the cult, and try to convert them. But aside from that, were you still allowed to have friends outside and be in relationships with people outside that were not interested in joining the cult?
They wouldn't usually say something is allowed or not allowed. They would probably express it more like it's not recommended. So you can almost do whatever you want, but then people from the inside will frown upon you. So let me make an example. If I hang out too much with my friends from school back in the days, then the other guys inside the group, they wouldn't want to hang out with me anymore because they would fear that I would bring like bad influence on them. And then of course my parents would want me to hang out with the people inside, so they would basically forbid me to hang out with the school friends. So this is the situation, right? But the people inside, also not that easy.
A lot of it is like off-season, right? It's like it's sort of like, is it 2 7.5-minute workouts a week? Is that the math on it? I wonder if it has any results. Let's keep it going. He might get some results from this.
Exactly. Guilt tripping. Exactly. If you don't follow the exact rules, and the more the better, then people will follow you in guilt trip. And it is not a nice feeling.
Can you tell me, like, for what's the recruitment process into the Jehovah's Witnesses in specific? What are the steps of getting in?
Yeah, actually, it's not so easy to get in there.